And I'm going to read a quote to you from somebody else. Sir Kyle of Dubas.
Oh.
Perhaps the path needs to shift slightly. It needs to be adapted slightly. You get in between persistence and full belief in the process versus being a little too staunch and rigid. That's Kyle Dubas, May 2023. Later that week, just being different doesn't solve something. Brendan Shanahan, May 2023. That's after Kyle Dubas was fired. I'm going to give you a stat here. Jonas Siegel of The Athletic put into his article. Playoff wins since 2014-2015. And I'm talking about series wins. The top of the list, I'm going to give you the top three. Tampa, 18 rounds won. Vegas, 11 rounds won. Pittsburgh, 9 rounds won. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now,
won for a while.
There are only 3 teams with 0. That's LA, Detroit, Buffalo. Toronto is tied with New Jersey, Philadelphia, the Coyotes, Minnesota, and Seattle with 1 round.
Oh, Minnesota. That's kind of...
They won 1.
Only one. Like,
only
I'm
one.
surprised that it's only been 1. But
Me
I
too.
guess, yeah.
Me too. I'm sure they would look at us and they'd say, same, bro. And I think it's only, I think it's key here that we just kick off with this headline from CJ with The Athletic. Leafs' latest exit makes it clear time is up for Shanaplan.
In 2021, the Leafs blew a 3-1 series lead. The LFR after that game, I went for 25 minutes straight about year in, year out, year in, year out. Here was what you had in front of you. There were no more excuses. There was nothing ahead of you but a clear laid path to the second round. And let's be honest, probably the third round. The Winnipeg Jets got swept by the Montreal Canadiens. Smacked by the Montreal Canadiens. And then who knows? Then you're in the Final Four.
Anything can happen. And it did.
You know, we were pretty staunch supporters of, we can and we will and all that and holding all that together. COVID happened. COVID ruined everything. The cap didn't go up anymore. The plan was we're going to give these guys long deals. It's going to go into the future. They're going to age with the deals. They're going to age well. And when the cap goes up, the cap should be close to $100 million by now.
Mm-hmm.
Well.
What if COVID didn't happen?
Nah.
Yep. No, if COVID didn't happen, that was
Gary's
the projection.
running it.
Okay, 92.
Yeah.
92. Shave $8 million off. 92. It was supposed to go up and up and up. 2021, you got a few things. One, it's been flat for a couple years and it's probably going to stay that way.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, these guys choke.
Mm-hmm.
It's their number one export. They had a third period lead again and blew it again immediately after.
90 seconds. But the fans don't cheer enough. Fans are not loud enough.
I feel so bad for that one dude and his group of friends. They caught a puck. Nylander scored. That happened within 90 seconds of each other. That dude was the god of Massachusetts. And then the Leafs ruined it and his night.
Nylander definitely saw too, because they panned to him on the bench. He had a little smile, and then he ducked his head for the rest of the time the camera shot was on him. So he definitely saw that those guys caught the puck, and he was it was cheeky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of, revisionist history, but, hindsight is 2020. And I think in this case, hindsight is 2021.
Mm-hmm.
That was the year.
That was the time. I agree with that completely.
That was the year. And they're like, nope, we're sticking to it.
You're talking about Montreal.
Yeah. And then the next year, they lost in the first round again. Nope.
7th game, though.
They finally win a series, only win one game in the next round. Their GM shows the slightest inclination at finally blowing up the core, and they fire him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to cost the guy who it's going to cost the guy who fired him his job, because we are now 3 playoff runs past the playoff run that should have been it. That should have been it. And now where do they even go from here?
So every year, just with that playoff run, there's always a built-in excuse. There's always been one, and that year it was, JT went out. That was coming out of that one. That was like, okay, Keefe just got there. To be fair, like that's what they said. He because they fired him. They fired Babcock at the end of 2019, and then the pandemic happens 2020. Keefe's never had like the full team in a non-COVID situation.
I mean, that's the excuse for not firing Keefe.
Yeah, no, and not making wholesale changes. Right. You want to give them the opportunity.
Protect Justin Hall in the expansion draft and Kerfoot because
over Jared McCann.
Listen,
the point I was just trying to make is that every year there was a built-in excuse by either the fan base or management, and they kind of felt justified in their reasoning. But you were right in that they should have moved on.
And let's be honest, we bought some of these, and we made the same excuses. We did, because we felt. And I felt, honestly, like, okay, I mean, I was particularly tough on Marner in the Montreal series. I remember that.
He was bad. That's why you were.
It wasn't personal.
Yeah,
but like, it is bad. But
time has passed. He's played well. He was bad in those games.
Let me throw this.
Don't ever apologize.
Let me throw these quotes at you, okay? Nylander doesn't think there's an issue with the core. He said, "Look, I don't think there's an issue with the core. I think we effing battled there all series. We battled hard and got into Game 7." And OT, and it's a shitty feeling. Austin Matthews said, "I feel we say that every year, but it's an incredible group, incredibly tight." John Tavares, "We're right there. It's a very small difference."
I don't care.
One notable absence, in fact, 2 notable absences from any quotes, are Mitchell Marner and Morgan Riley, both of whom are assistant captains with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the reason for that is that they refused to speak to the media last night. Leafs PR all year long have done double time. Nobody's been really reporting it, but they've done double time on preventing key players from coming out and talking. And the reporters I have to give the reporters credit. I'm not seeing one complain about it, but we know because we're hearing it from behind the scenes.
Interesting.
And after a Game 7 overtime loss, if you wear an assistant captain or a captain on your jersey and you do not come out and speak to the press, you do not deserve to have that. That is not leadership. I don't care how upset you are. The reporters can wait for you to pull it together. My opinion, just to kick things off, just so we're clear, is that, and this will never happen, but if you're a leader on this team and you make money on this team, then you're accountable to the media. It's not Noah Gregor's job. It's not David Kampf's job. No offense to them. Nobody really cares what they have to say anyway.
Yeah, I was going to ask, were there microphones in their face?
I'm sure there wasn't. Because here's the thing. The Leafs don't allow you in the dressing room the way they used to. Now they bring them out.
Hey, David, you finally scored after like 50 minutes. Why did Keefe decide to immediately put you on the ice?
We'll get to that. And I want to be out front of this. I am completely so disappointed in both of those 2 players for not coming out and taking accountability for the team that they are part of the core 5 of. Because it really is a core 5.
Adam, I mean, they're probably sick of saying it. So what they could have done, and like the Leafs have the budget to have done this, what they could have done is, instead of having to say any words at all into a microphone, just hold an iPad in front of your face with every end of season press conference you've done since 2017.
It's the same.
A compilation getting increasingly more depressed, but also saying the exact same damn thing.
Jesse, I just sent you a quote, and it's a video quote. It's on text. Do you mind bringing
the Sheldon Keefe one?
Yeah, is that okay? Can we bring this up?
Not the one you sent, because this not with the graphics on it
from
that network.
Oh, was there graphics on it?
Let's do this one.
Apologies.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Mitch Marner has been stealing money from the Toronto Maple
We're getting into the Mitch Marner thing later, but I wanted to. I need to set
if we're talking about him not talking to the media, are we talking about that, or are we doing Keefe?
We're talking to the media right now. We'll get into the performances and the game, but I wanted to set the tone because Keefe got out and talked in front of the microphone.
Sure.
Matthews got out and talked in front of the microphone.
Matthews, again, looking like a character from Corpse Bride.
He looks like he's going to die out. He's exhausted.
We're going to find out something is horribly wrong with that guy. The tone of his, like the skin under his eyes.
He looks pallid.
He looks like he's lost weight too.
Yep.
Like a lot of weight. I'm worried for the guy.
Nylander spoke. Tavares spoke. Matthews spoke. Keefe probably spoke for his last time as the head coach.
Oh, yeah.
For your team's perspective, what was the biggest challenge generating offense?
Well, they're a very structured team. You know, they do a very good job through the neutral zone, and they protect their net as well, or better than most any team in the NHL. And they were content to do that. You know, they were content to do that. It's very evident. Teams play the Leafs. They set up the game for the Leafs to beat themselves. And
what a face too.
I thought we did that in game 3 and 4. We beat ourselves with how we played at home.
He's right.
I thought in games 1 and 2, parts of 1, but parts of 1 were like 3 and 4. But game 2 certainly, and 5 and 6. The way we played, that's a way that can win, and did win. You know, 3 of the games in this series, and didn't beat ourselves.
What does he mean by that for a second here? What does he mean by, if you said in there, Steve, you agree with what his summation of it was, especially in games 3 and 4. And I think Leaf fans on the whole get that feeling and have had that feeling for a better part of a decade, but couldn't necessarily always put it into words. What does he mean?
The Leafs took a lot of penalties. They didn't get very many saves. But one thing that I've said from game 1 of the series, and I said from the beginning of game 7 too, game 1 of the series, I remember being like, Simone Benoit's had a lot of the puck, like offensively. And I think it's because, like, it's nothing against him. Like, he was making the right play at the time, but it's like the Bruins are funneling it to him and they're letting him have it. Game 7, the same thing happened. And then the Bruins didn't give up their zone. Never gave up they made life very difficult in the neutral zone, never gave up their blue line. But when they did, it was always just hogging the wall. And it's like handed off to Tavares, especially on the power play, hugging the wall. And it just felt like the Leafs feel nice and comfortable and nice and hugged in tight, playing on the perimeter. And the Bruins were like, you go ahead, buddy. You go right ahead. We're gonna let you have the puck. Your possession numbers are gonna look really good. Like time with the puck in the offensive zone, it's gonna look good. It's gonna look like you're in. And
then your
game.
Advanced stats staff might say, keep doing it.
I don't think. No,
I don't think.
No,
so,
no.
But.
And I will say this: the like analytics staff for competent NHL teams know that that's all bullshit. They know that that's all
right,
bullshit.
Which is why you should be careful with the type of stats that are publicly available, because they're so based on things like that, and they don't tell you anything.
Yeah,
they really don't tell you much.
It's important to have the information, but it's a gift to explain it. And just in conversations I've had with team staffs, and you can be like, "Oh, it's Steve Dangle. He doesn't." Oh, okay, whatever you got to tell yourself. I've spoken to these people. But it takes a really competent, smart team to be able to explain it. Leafs have a good staff. Like, they know that that's all bullshit. And what I see in Sheldon Keefe's face there, I know a lot of people want this guy fired. I see a frustrated guy who's like, I've told them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I've told them over and over again, get pucks to the net, get to the front of the net. The amount of times in this series, the Leafs had the puck in the corners or behind the net or along the half wall, and there's no one in front.